No?
How do you say it, Joey?
Yeah. In
Come on.
Hey, so these guys learned how to say there's no speed like airspeed in Swedish. Go ahead.
Det all.
No, that was horrible.
I forgot it.
Det
You put me under pressure. Det ingen fart som ett.
Just say. Just say it. Jag älskar kukar.
The Swedish team is going to love us.
Luftfart.
They've heard worse from us.
Det ingen fart som luftfart.
Don't say it to him, say it to them.
I said it to them. I said it to everybody.
You can cut that out.
Say Luftfart.
Yeah, luftfart.
Luftfart.
It's airspeed.
Yeah.
Luftfart. Okay.
Now Lightspeed. You will get a new name anyway.
Say it in
right?
German
Lightspeed.
now.
Lightspeed or
Airspeed in German. It's the same word.
no? It's Luftgeschwindigkeit.
Exactly.
Luftfinsternis.
That's like a safe word for a kinky play. Can I take it?
Oder Windgeschwindigkeit.
Is it Russian now?
Airspeed.
Hold on.
All right, and now let's all sing together for the audience at the end. And always look on the bright side of life.
That's pretty good. Take one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have special guests here today, not in the land and not on Zoom or any of those kind of things, not on Skype. We have them live.
Real life people.
Touching each other.
Arizona Airspeed. We are allowed to train again, so they're training.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it opened up here in North Carolina a few days ago. We took the advantage of getting back into the tunnel with rigs and everything and started training. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that. Everybody was with rigs actually. Vega, your team that you're coaching, and the ladies.
XPG4. Yeah.
Everybody with gear. So, which means, in other words, you're focusing on outdoor competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a little bit different flying with no rig on. You know, your weight and balance, your timing, the feel of things are a little bit different. So putting a rig on in the tunnel gets you a little bit ahead of the game, so you don't have to figure everything out in free fall. You know, you get the benefit of the tunnel, where you just get to try things over and over again. And the nature of the tunnel, you could feel when things go wrong because you have all these visual references. So when you go to free fall, hopefully it'll be a easier transition.
It's a good workout too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Better workout than without the gear.
Yeah. I remember the first time I flew in the tunnel with a rig on, I got out and I was like, that's why I'm always breathing under canopy.
Interesting. Yeah, right. That's the reason. Guys, how is life in the Corona world for you?
Better now than a month ago, right? It's kind of scary and gloomy for a while, but it's feeling better. We're kind of crawling out of our shells, and the weather's nice. The tunnel's running, the drop zone's running. The drop zone's supposed to open up back home pretty soon here. We're excited to get jumping again.
Opens up here tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see some real skydiving tomorrow, hopefully.
The drops in here
drops
open
zone's
next over
already
the
open.
weekend.
Yeah.
They officially opened, was it Friday or Saturday?
So
XP opened here in North Carolina. Every state decides on their own when they're going to open, right? So North Carolina opened on May 8th or May 7th, one of those. And Arizona is May 16th. So, yeah.
So we are all in the same boat. We are struggling because we are all full-timers. The NSL is full-time events and journalism, so income gone. You are competitors, full-time competitors, coaches, organizers, all that. All the events gone. How do you do it?
Just one day at a time. I mean, what else are you going to do, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously it hurts, right? We're under stress, under financial stress because of what's going on. But at the same time, we can choose to wallow in that, or we can choose to take advantage of the training opportunity it presents. You know, if there's no work, you might as well train. We just
Don't eat as much.
Yeah, I think that during the actual lockdown, everybody is doing the same thing, right? We're all doing nothing, kind of. So nobody's making money. We're in the same boat as everybody else. It's how we proceed coming out of it that is what's on all of our minds. You know, me and Chris were just getting settled into. We kind of teamed up for our coaching business because Nick and Mikhail were always doing the 8-way stuff. So we were just taking off with that, and then this kind of hamstrung it a little bit. So now we're thinking about how we're going to take that off again.
You got enough time to prepare for it now.
Exactly, and then a whole nother discussion is, you know, what's happening in skydiving as a result, in competitive skydiving as a result of this, and the new dates for the world meet. We don't even know how that's going to affect us yet, and that also, all of these things are things that are on our mind today, and no clear answer yet.
And trying to keep the good spirits at the same time, right? We just sang the song. Always look at the bright side.
I think it's easier though in a sense for us. We have a forward team, we're set. And so we're kind of just waiting for things to go back to normal of sorts. And I mean, we are, our teamers on Airspeed, we survive on a community like any other team does. And if the community is not active, then we are a marketing tool and we connect with the community. And if there is no community, we don't exist. And the same is for you and everyone else, right? So we're hoping that the community will get back to full steam like normal soon enough, you know. But who knows?
Yeah.
So it's out of our hands.
Yep.
Well, let's go to stuff that we know anyway, and let's go to the Airspeed story of this lineup, because you just mentioned you and Chris, you're coming from a different history, and we had your two teammates just a little earlier here. They were training alongside, and if we go back to the nationals last year, you and Gina and Michelle, you were with Ranch second generation. Now you're here.
Yeah.
So let's begin at the nationals. Nationals, an interesting experience for you, Mikhail and Niklas. You start from there. That's where the story begins.
We had Matt fill in for Ari's absence. We got July and August to train for it. Nationals was in September. And we did Nationals with Matt, and we took second, a jump off round 11 where Rhythm beat us by 1 point, right? So 1 point, yeah. And so then we had the World Cup right after with the same lineup, and now when we kind of had a meet in us to kind of, that was the first competition with Matt Davidson on the team.
The nationals.
Yeah, the nationals, and we did 300 plus jumps in 2 months, so it was pretty intense. And we did great. I mean, we did a 26 average with Matt, his first forward meet in years. He's a seasoned competitor. But it's hard for anyone to get tossed into the lion's den like that, you know. And he did great. And at the World Cup, we did really well. We won the World Cup with Hayabusa not attending. It was still a very good performance for us as a team. It's a nice little comeback from nationals. And after that, we essentially Tiago retired, and then we were in this. Indecision what the future was going to hold, and in that we had questions of, do we continue with the three of us, including Mikhail, myself, and Matt Davidson, or do we pick up a brand new team, you know? And Mikhail and I were certain we were going to continue. And then in all of that, we also got roped into the 8-way. So the 8-way team wanted 2 members to go to the World Meet, so Mikhail and I said yes to that.
And Matt too in the beginning.
Yeah. So the 3 of us were on it, but then we weren't quite sure what to do with the 4-way team. The future of it. Are we going to aim short term, long term? What are we going to do? and that's where these guys come in. And they did a 20 average at nationals, and they have been very close to the team. R2G has been very close to Arizona Airspeed throughout the whole journey, you know.
Yeah, you have a close relationship to that team, right?
Yeah.
In many ways.
They can kind of talk about their own experience in nationals, because they had a great success, as far as their team was concerned. But back to Airspeed, as far as we didn't know what we wanted to do for the longest time, and Mikael and I kind of just plotted this course after a lot of weighing where Airspeed has been for the last, at the time, 6 years. From 2013 all the way through 2019, where the project has kind of been struggling to compete with Hayabusa on the international stage, but even though owning the domestic market, and then eventually winning at home is not enough, for a team like Airspeed. Becoming world champion is the primary purpose of our existence, So that being, so essentially, long story short, with those values and goals, aspirations, we essentially sat down and wanted to have a long-term plan where we didn't go to short 2-year commitments anymore, that we had a long-term commitment. And with these guys, we decided on a 5-year commitment. And depending on how everything works out, with the consequences of the World Meet maybe happening in 2022 or 2023, we might end up with a 6-year commitment.
Yeah.
It's left to see, but anyways.
Quitting jobs, moving, starting different lives, all that.
And just throw a pandemic in the middle.
Yeah.
That was it. Just make it interesting.
It's actually kind of funny if you think about it, because when me and Chris said yes to being on the team, we obviously, and we've talked about this before on NSL, we moved from New York to Arizona, and we knew that it was going to be a very dynamic time for us, where we were going to have to find a place to live, we were going to have to find a way to make money. We really didn't want to hold on to our old jobs, because we took the challenge of being on the team that seriously, So, but that also creates a challenge of, you have to make it as a full-time skydiver, and that's no joke,
No joke.
And so then, we still haven't answered all those questions yet, and then the pandemic hits, and we're like, let's just go with it. It's like I haven't even landed on the ground yet. It's like I'm in the middle of the skydive, and I just got another.
The wind keeps blowing me up.
Exactly.
Let's not go that far yet, because there's some steps before that.
Oh, yeah.
One at least, I don't know. We had the coronavirus already in January, kind of, but then came the Wind Games, the first competition for.
Man, the Wind Games was really exciting for all of us. It was a really interesting experience for me. Just speaking for me personally, I went through a whole cycle psychologically. I remember the last tunnel session that we had done. It was like, this is the last 15 minutes we're going to do before the Wind Games. I fell apart. I was like, this
Crying tears.
It was terrible. It was terrible. And I think we had a full day to kind of to collect myself. And whatever problem I personally had, I solved it for the Wind Games, pretty much. I felt, at least. Going into round one for me was like my first skydive. It really was. Because what was funny is when
Get me away from the door.
exactly. I remember at the Wind Games you have this little waiting room before you get into the antechamber, and in that waiting room I'm like, man, why did I do this? I'm like, this is so stupid. Why did I quit my job to be here right now? I don't want to be
No,
here.
you didn't do that.
And then I get in the door and I'm just like, and I get out of the first round. I'm like, I'm doing this for the rest of my life.
That's exactly how we feel too. Yeah.
Chris, you know Joey. You've known Joey for a while. Is that all true? What he said?
100% true. And he was in the same slot for the past.
Yeah.
5 years. So I was sitting there like, all right.
Okay, so let's move on because I know we are not restricted by Zoom to my 43 minutes, so now I can actually go beyond this, but we don't want to challenge the patience too much. Although so far it's been very entertaining. So then you confirm everything a good month later at the Paraclete Indoor Championship, so that win games could have been lucky or coincidence or whatever, but no. Same thing at Paraclete.
Yeah, Paraclete was a different experience for us in a couple of ways, right? Win Games was a blank slate. We had no idea what we were walking into, and we were, all of us were very pleasantly surprised. It was amazing. XP was different because A, now we had a little bit of expectation going on, right? And B, we actually had a very technical and long training camp leading up to it. So XP put us through the ringer of actually finding our performance again, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like hitting the ground running. Mm-hmm. It was like, it took us at least half the meet to kind of, collect our marbles, and get going.
It was like one of those experiences where you have a race car that's not firing at all cylinders or something. You have to go into this pit stop every time to fix something, you know what I'm saying? And at Win Games, it was like a dream car, and then you just gotta go back in. But we never quit, and we fought through every round to eventually find our game.
Yeah. And that experience was a foundation for the training that we've been doing up to now. In that we've been finding the team, we've been finding ourselves, and balancing the amount of detail or an amount of just kind of flying and winging it that we need for our performance, So it's a great start and great learning opportunity,
And then there's the balancing between 4-way and 8-way and all that. We get to that in a moment. But now the pandemic hits, right?
Yeah.
So we're Paraclete XP meet is behind us now. Were you actually officially qualified for the next indoor world meet, right? That was the qualification.
I believe that's true, yeah.
You're not good enough to go to Tanai, but you can represent us now at the next. I'm just kidding. So outdoor is Rhythm Still, indoor is Airspeed now again, and then the pandemic hit, and everything changed. What we had expected so far, at least, in so many ways. So, how was it from your perspective? The World Meet was the first thing that happened, it got canceled.
And that's kind of the only thing we really know right now, right? We know that the World Meet's postponed. It's just exactly a year later. And we know that the 2019 national champions, U.S. national champions, are going to that World Meet. That's it. We literally don't know anything else right now.
For you, not much change actually, right?
Well, it did in a way. So, first of all, the A-way is getting extended by a year, right? So, and that directly affects the 4-way team,
too,
right?
Yeah.
So there's kind of a rebalancing going on there, and
Nick is dreaming. He thinks of, oh no, 2 more years, 2 years now, 8-way and 4-way. So he was just,
I might be the oldest on the team, but I'm the one that wanted to train the most.
I have no idea how I'm going to survive, but I know we will. So the second thing there is just figuring out the 4-way. Or waiting for the 4-way facts to come out, right? Is 2021 going to be qualifying for 2022? Is it going to get pushed back? We don't know. All we can do really is to set the best plan we can most training we can, and kind of do our thing and let the world sort itself out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, the events where I'm sure you were looking forward to meet Hayabusa again at some point and sometime soon. The Wind Games were an opportunity. Then the World Challenge fell away, the Shamrock Showdown fell away.
I mean, how the pandemic kind of hit us personally was that Michelle and I were on our way from Arizona to here, North Carolina, for 8-way training. And on the way to the airport, 5 in the morning, we pull over the car and we're like, should we go? Because it was just getting really bad in New York City,
Oh.
Right. This was February. I think,
Yeah.
right? So it was kind of before everything.
It was right after the indoor world.
Yeah.
It was maybe
March.
March. Yeah. So we were like, it was just starting to happen, where it started, big alarm bells was going on. I think we had a couple of cases in Seattle and Los Angeles and New York. But either way, so we decided, hey, we're gonna go and see what happens. And no lockdowns in North Carolina or anywhere. It was just like the panic started setting in nationwide, And then as we flew out here, Mikkel and I have been stuck here ever since.
Oops.
So in the end of the day, and then we did do that 8-way camp because as the pandemic started taking root in the nation, we were kind of just doing our 8-way, mostly tunnel. We tried to jump, the weather wasn't good. And then everything got locked down. So we just stayed here, more or less. And so then these guys came out here to train when everything started easing up. But we were on our way to the World Cup in Bedford in Europe.
Yeah.
And that's Bedford canceled, World Cup canceled. And then I guess Trump canceled any transatlantic flights.
Right.
Now it was like,
Shamrock
okay, we're not going anywhere. And that's kind of how we experienced this whole pandemic. And from there, so all these competitions that we really wanted to have for this year are gone. We wanted to, go to Bedford, to the Indoor World Cup in the aerospace.
Shamrock.
We wanted to go to Shamrock.
French team was already here. The Qatar team was
Yeah,
already
yeah.
here.
We wanted to go to Shamrock. We wanted to have the XP Classic, which we don't know if it's going to happen in June or not, depending on people's interest. So if you count all of those, it's 4 competitions. So as far as for us, the competition season and the training, it's been a big dent. And at this point, just got to roll with the punches and do what you can.
Let's look at, you mentioned earlier, the traditionally, Airspeed is not going after the national title, Airspeed is going for world championship titles. So let's talk about the international scene a little bit at this point, because you're riding into it now, the first experience at the Wind Games was already for the whole team, it's coming to you. Evaluate it quickly, how do you see it? There's Hayabusa with a new lineup coming. I don't know which other teams are there. Is 2021 a weak year for the world title? There have been weak years, like 2006 was kind of a so-called weak year at a world meet. Not the top nations didn't have top teams and so forth. How is 21 looking from that perspective, from the experts?
I mean, we don't like to call it weak or strong. It's soft,
Okay, soft.
But as far as I thought I heard one of you guys say that Hayabusa decided to put Michele in instead of Dave. That would make Hayabusa a little bit more softer than what it would be with Dave, all the experience. But Michele is extremely talented, and I'm sure they're gonna find new energy, new things to do, so they end up gonna be stronger with Michele. So the sooner you go up against Hayabusa, the better.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes, So we would like to do that as soon as possible. Now Rhythm has that ticket for Russia, they are changing a member as well. So there's a lot of stuff going around, yeah. As of right now, compared to those 2 lineups, we have more training.
Yeah.
But, and we have more competition experience, if you're looking at the lineups. But I don't discount anyone Rhythm picks. There's going to be a good team, and Hayabusa is going to be a very good team. I mean, they're the reigning world champions over and over again because they got Dennis on the team, they got Bob on the team, so they get a McKelly on the team. I mean, whatever recipe Hayabusa has is going to keep working, and we just got to do our thing. And in the end of the day, we're hoping that we win, not because they're weaker, because we're stronger.
Yeah.
Andy is the last original member now for Hayabusa. With David leaving. What do you think of, I mean, the Qatar Tigers are going into their 10th year or 9th year or so together. Do you see them as a potential contender for the title, for the top spot?
I feel like we look ahead, right? We're mostly focused on Hayabusa. We have to respect the fact that Qatar is very well funded, and that organization is strong, and they've been able to achieve a lot in that short period of time. Resources, staff, and talent, right? So you can't really discount them. You know, they're gonna be up there.
I guess when you look at a team, you're like, when you're training, you're thinking, I'm going to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're going to be so good at that we're not going to let anybody beat us at doing what we're doing. When we look at other teams, that are doing something different that is showing a lot of results, right? So right now, Hayabusa does some things different from us that empirically have showed a lot of results. The Qatar Tigers, coming up from behind, once you start seeing like, oh, that thing they did on this block there showed a lot of results, then they'll get a lot of attention. But for right now, we give them as much attention as like, I just don't want anybody to beat me at what I'm doing right now. So
interesting.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So as soon as they come up with block 13, the faster.
Exactly, they do it the Kurt Gable way. Then we're gonna have to really consider it.
I think it was last year that we were looking at their block 11. I think it was in win games.
I can't remember. Yeah. I mean, the Qatar Tigers have always been up there. You know, like I know with our previous lineup, with Aura and Thiago, when we started going into the tunnel scene. Over in Europe, we had no idea where we were going to end up at Win Games in 2017, or no, we didn't go, 2018, and Bedford, and these are all competitions they go to, you know. They might have gone to the World Cup in Montreal, but in the end of the day, I think the recipe for us, it's looking at Hayabusa, Rhythm, Qatar Tigers, any other lineup there, is that I think he hit the nail on the head, you know. We went to Win Games with a clean slate, no expectations. Let's just fight together, and if you focus on your craft 100%, there's an element as a competitor you have to kind of educate yourself and know what they're doing, but and your motivation and stuff comes from that. But in the end of the day, you have to stay focused on what you're doing, because that's the only thing we can control. We can't control anything else. And you know, where you win it in the training is not only training hard, but also understanding what other teams are doing. You know,
we have that actually very much in common with golfing, don't we? So you know, you cannot beat your opponent. You can only do the best you can do, and then see how far it gets.
Out golf, or for us, outfly them. You know.
So last topic quickly. The 8-way situation is so interesting again, you know, because you have two former R2G here, and then two others and then the two of you in the 8-way, and it's kind of 2-2 situation. Is that beneficial? Where are the benefits? I was asking the same question actually to Gina and Michelle earlier. Where are the benefits? Where are the difficulties where it's overlapping? Are there benefits? Are there difficulties?
I think there's a couple of things. First of all, with respect to this team, the biggest benefit, or one of the biggest benefits at least, is that Nick and I stepped into a new environment and reminded ourselves what it's like to be in that new environment. And when it came to getting Chris and Joey up to speed with this four-way team, that reference is super useful, you know. So it brings back memories. It's like, okay, that's, you know, this is how I learn. You know, it's super clunky at first, and then I figure it out, or maybe, you know, that sort of detail. You know, of course, it's great for the community. It's great to be mixing people here. Airspeed's coming here. The rest of it, Airspeed XP8 travels to Eloy. We kind of have this mix of people going on. Liability, of course, it's a conflict of time and energy.
Logistics.
Yeah, and logistics, and kind of it was very important for Nick and I to make sure that the four-way team was completely on board, and then, you know, if these guys say no, it's like, well, you know,
I mean,
it's a non-starter, but yeah, it's a balancing act.
I mean, in the end of the day, just to kind of cut to the chase, it's like, here we are, four-way loses to Rhythm. Rhythm becomes the U.S. team, right? And then Rhythm now, it's not to anyone's interest to have a team doing both events at a World Meet. So Rhythm, hey, we're going to the World Meet, and the AFA is like, okay, we're going to the World Meet as well, right? So Rhythm and XP8 going to the World Meet, choices have to be made because you have to focus 100% on one. And so for us, we then found ourselves having an option to join the AFA team. The four of us joined the AFA team. The three of us, Matt, Davidson, Mikkel, and I. And now the pandemic hits and it postpones everything 1 year, you know. At that point, you kind of committed yourself to do something. And I feel like you just have to stick through, because the AFA team bears the Airspeed brand, the forward team bears the Airspeed brand, and it's still a short-term goal because we are going to World Meet as an 8-way, and then we're going to the U.S. Nationals as a 4-way. You know what I'm saying? 8-way also going to be there, but it's after the 4-way, and it's not at the same day as a World Meet. So there are two different goals that can align and coexist if you carefully craft a plan for it.
Yeah.
And Mikkel and I are doing the heavy lifting, and if any two people are going to do the heavy lifting, it's him and I.
Yeah, we're pretty good at suffering.
Yeah. We should be ultra marathon runners
And they
with
are
no
not,
shoes.
And they are not. And they're not double duties any longer for anybody, you know, because Andrew Starr would have had double duties, Matt Davidson would have had double duties with the previous situation.
Yeah.
Right now, this is all clean sheet.
And you know, that's how it goes, right? And then we have Chris and Joey here. They essentially, in an expressed way, get to be Airspeed at home or anywhere when we're doing 8-way. They're gonna get busy coaching, organize camps, and so in a way, they get job security right away because he and I are busy doing the 8-way thing. You know, and so is it going to be a tough challenge for Mikkel and I? Absolutely. The plan that we have set forth is going to make sure that both teams' needs get met and we actually thrive, not just survive. But in the end of the day, it's going to be tough for Mikkel and I. But at the same time, we've been doing so much forward training right now, like this year, more than what we thought. And it's meaning like with all the tunnel flying and the competition scene and so we had a plan this year for the 8-way to take precedence because the World Meet was in August. It's just like 3 months away. But now with this restructuring, where the World Meet is a year out, we get more training days and out of this year because we have 16 months, not 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
All the good things, you know, that you get out of it from this situation, does it still feel sometimes maybe like I would like to do the 8-way too, actually, you know, they can do the 8-way for you, Joey and Chris.
He was on it. He woke up and now he's on the forward team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, not too bad. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a lot of good information, and it was really about time to catch up with the Airspeed. We haven't done this in a long time, and covering a long time period now. Thanks for doing that. Good luck with everything. Good luck to all of us as of coming out of this, and good luck to you with everything that you're doing, 4-way, 8-way, job, moving, whatever needs to be done.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Good luck with
Good luck to everybody out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stay healthy.
Yep.